Only faith can surpass power and judge it, and faith is often built upon the common people. Due to the power struggle within the Cersei family, there has been constant warfare and suffering during her reign, leading to a large influx of refugees into King's Landing. People have started placing their hopes in the church. The former King Robert's Master of War refuses to accept Cersei's commands. Meanwhile, the family's economy is in crisis. To quell the public anger and establish a cost-free army, Cersei seeks out the leader of the refugees, the High Sparrow. She offers him the authority to reorganize the church and appoints him as the High Septon. Subsequently, she has them imprison Margaery's brother and then Margaery herself, thinking that the High Sparrow would be grateful and easily manipulated to suppress any potential threats. However, Cersei did not anticipate that the High Sparrow, whose followers grow in number, would also taste the power he has gained. Using Cersei's alleged incestuous relationship with her brother Jaime as an excuse, he imprisons her in the Great September of Baelor. After enduring repeated torture, Cersei finally temporarily submits to the High Sparrow, agreeing to undergo a trial by faith. She is accused of defiling the gods and is made to walk through the streets wearing the new attire of an emperor. The journey from the Great September of Baelor to the Red Keep is incredibly challenging for Cersei.
Shame! 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 Shame!
As she has many enemies, and her daughter has been poisoned and killed by a family she was to be married into. Witnessing the death of her daughter and the increasing audacity of the High Sparrow, Jaime decides to rescue Margaery and eliminate the threat of the Faith Militant, but the High Sparrow threatens them with Margaery's brother and manipulates the young King Tommen, brainwashing him to support the church.
I speak for King Tommen of House Baratheon, first of his name.
The gods don't recognize his authority in this matter.
A new age of harmony. A holy alliance between the crown and the faith.
Together, we will restore the Seven Kingdoms to glory.
Driven by the desire for survival and the unforgettable humiliation of being publicly shamed, Cersei walks through the streets wearing the Emperor's new clothes, awaiting her judgment by the bishop whose authority she had granted.
He promised me I could stay in the Red Keep until my trial.
Made no such promises. If you refuse to come of your own free will. Move aside, sir.
I choose violence.
As her dignity is stripped away by the public shaming, even her loyal followers, who used to bow down to her, start to distance themselves. Her only son is also influenced by the church's teachings. As the day of her trial approaches, Cersei, as the mother of the king, cannot escape her fate. This unleashes the inner demon within her, defending her thirst for power. Margaery also knows that the impending trial against the Queen Mother will inevitably lead to unforeseen conflicts. So, using the hidden book pattern of the Highgarden Rose, I inform my grandmother, although I am caught up in this game of power, my heart is forever tied to my family. The day of judgment for the Queen Mother has finally arrived, and everyone awaits solemnly, eager to declare their positions in this clandestine battle of power. They all want to witness the fall of the mighty Queen Mother. However, as Cersei's guards block her son Tommen from leaving, it becomes clear that she had no intention of attending this trial. She wants everyone who opposes her to know that the Lannister family always repays its debts. After the public trial of Margaery's brother, with Cersei still absent, the High Sparrow sends Lancel, who has already pledged allegiance to him and was once Cersei's cousin, to summon her. But as he steps out, he is led by a prearranged young boy into the catacombs beneath the Great September of Baelor. Confused, Lancel sees the room filled with barrels, and in the darkness, the boy delivers a fatal blow with a dagger. As Lancel lies on the ground, he sees the distant flames and realizes that the gathering for the trial has long been part of Cersei's plot.
Cersei understands the consequences of her absence, and she is absent anyway, which means she does not intend to suffer those consequences.
We all need to leave now!
Those who occupy the highest positions always have someone to do their bidding, but they also pay an equal price. The 3 children also perish in the struggle for family power. After eliminating the church she once nurtured, Cersei finally sits on the coveted Iron Throne. But now, her most threatening enemy is Daenerys Targaryen, the last surviving member of the dragon lineage. She learns that Daenerys has landed on Dragonstone with her 3 dragons and has formed alliances with some of Cersei's enemies. Despite Jaime's insistence that they cannot engage in warfare without sufficient provisions before the onset of winter, Cersei remains ambitious, with aspirations to rule all.
I'm not sure you understand how much danger we're in.
I understand we're in a war for survival. I understand whoever loses dies. I understand whoever wins could launch a dynasty that lasts 1,000 years.
A dynasty for whom? Our children are dead. We're the last of us.
A dynasty for us, then.
Now they're all dead. Whoever killed them is no friend of ours. We need allies.
Facing her brother's doubts, Cersei reveals that she has already secured alliances, including the Greyjoys, who have chosen a new king. She promises to offer herself to them once they defeat Daenerys. With her cunning plan, Euron Greyjoy successfully destroys Daenerys' naval power, disrupting her grand schemes. However, Daenerys is unaware that the most confident move in her plan is about to fall into Cersei's trap. Casterly Rock, the stronghold of House Lannister, has never been conquered. As a member of the Lannister family, Tyrion knows that the castle is well trained in archery, well supplied, and has a garrison of at least 10,000 soldiers, and through the lookout posts, they will know in advance when the enemy is attacking. Facing the impregnable gates and towering walls, casualties are unavoidable, but Tyrion, who personally built the sewer system within the castle, knows that there is a route through the sewers that leads to the watchtower, so he plans to have Grayscale, the leader of the Unsullied, lead an elite squad to break out from within and coordinate with the external forces. While the main army outside the castle diverts the enemy's firepower, the elite squad will strike from the sewers against Daenerys' army of Unsullied. This tactic can be unstoppable.
Give me 10 good men, and I'll impregnate the bitch.
One side fights for freedom, while the other fights for power. Due to their different loyalties, the Unsullied ultimately defeat the Lannister soldiers.
But my sister's armies fight for her out of fear. The Unsullied will be fighting for something greater. They will be fighting for freedom, and the person who gave it to them. They will be fighting for you. And that is why they will triumph.
After Grayscale's team captures Casterly Rock, they discover that the enemy is far fewer than initially predicted, realizing that they fell into Cersei's trap of an empty castle. Meanwhile, Jaime, leading the Lannister army, has already eliminated all of Daenerys' allies one by one. In the face of the complete defeat of the castle's defenders, Marjorie's grandmother calmly faces it all. Under Jaime's reluctant mercy, the Queen of Thorns drinks a glass of wine and reveals the truth about Joffrey's death.
I'd hate to die like your son, clawing at my neck, foam and bile spilling from my mouth, eyes blood red, skin purple. Tell Cersei, I wanted to know it was me.
The gold confiscated by Jaime not only pays off the national debt, but Cersei also paints a picture of ruling the Seven Kingdoms with the wealthy Iron Bank. She successfully allies with the Iron Bank and incorporates it into her own power. Upon hearing that her allies have been wiped out, the enraged Daenerys quickly questions Tyrion's strategy. However, after everyone's persuasion, she suppresses her desire to use her dragons to burn the city. At this moment, Theon, who has regained his life and was once a foster brother, is confronted by Snow for his treacherous actions. But considering that Theon saved Sansa's life, Jon does not hold a grudge. The reason Theon gave up on rescuing his sister was also because he hoped to seek Daenerys' help. However, Snow tells Theon that Daenerys has already taken Drogon, her eldest dragon, to the first stop to plunder gold and food. With gold, provisions, spoils, and the encouragement of the loyal soldiers who defected to their side, Jaime is preparing for battle, but the mercenaries around him feel the tremors of the earth.
Listen.
All the commanders who foresee the danger quickly gather their forces. The shield bearers stand in tight formation, the close combat spear soldiers fill in the gaps, and the archers wait in the rear ready to unleash their arrows. Although Jaime has experienced countless battles, the oppressive feeling of an unseen enemy lowers the morale of everyone present. The mounted horsemen of the Dothraki, unstoppable like a raging tide, have been honing their skills in warfare from the moment they were born. Amidst the war cries of their kinsmen, they charge forward. At this moment, any army from any family on the continent of Westeros would appear extremely vulnerable.
Get back to King's Landing.
I'm not abandoning my army.
You're the commander, not a damn infantryman. Those are about to swamp us.
We can hold them off.
Faced with the unstoppable cavalry of the Dothraki, coupled with a long-lost black dragon leading the charge, the outcome seems predetermined even before the battle begins. As the central shield wall is instantly breached, Jaime stands firm and organizes his troops to resist to the death. However, to his surprise, the enemy archers are also mounted on horseback. The archers' elevated position quickly dismantles the shield walls on both sides once again. From the sky, Daenerys, riding her dragon, targets the rear defenses of Jaime's army. Faced with the aerial firepower, Jaime coordinates his archer squads to resist Daenerys' attack, but as Daenerys turns her dragon around, she inadvertently destroys the flanking defenses as well. Witnessing the carnage before him, Jaime recalls the scorpions developed by Qyburn. He orders the mercenaries to man the scorpions and attempt to shoot down the dragons before the mercenaries can reach the scorpions. However, they are brought down by the enemy leader, whose blow severs their horse legs, causing them to fall. In the face of the game-changing dragon, Bronn, finding himself in the midst of the chaos, can only search for an attempt to use the untested scorpion. He opens the wings, secures it to his forearm, and, with the giant arrow fully drawn, searches for Daenerys in the smoke. Due to the presence of the fire-breathing dragon, the soldiers on the battlefield are powerless to resist. Jaime, witnessing the devastation, knows that the battle is all but lost. Daenerys, riding her dragon over the lake, prepares for a final close-quarters sweep of the battlefield. However, this also allows Bronn, hidden in the smoke, to lock his aim on her. Seeing the appearance of a highly threatening weapon on the battlefield, Daenerys becomes more alert and swiftly targets the scorpion. When Daenerys, under attack for the first time in the air, becomes enraged, she turns Drogon around and begins a direct assault on the scorpion. The arrow from Bronn's right arm causes Drogon to lose balance instantly, and in the process, he crashes towards the direction of the scorpion. Just when everyone thinks the tide is about to turn, Drogon, after faking a fall, once again proves the might of dragons. Seeing Daenerys removing the arrow and landing on the ground, Tyrion, who is watching the battle unfold, understands his brother's intentions.
Come on, boy. Come on.
After Bronn saves Jaime, witnessing the devastation caused by just a single dragon, he understands why Daenerys, who could have easily ruled, did not bring all 3 dragons with her and instead chose to destroy the ancestral legacy of his own family. Nobody wants to see a burning war or use corpses as stepping stones, but often, people find themselves trapped on an inevitable path. Seeing the soldiers fighting for Cersei before her, Daenerys clearly asserts her sovereignty of either prosperity for those who submit or death for those who resist. Initially, some soldiers harbor stubbornness, but witnessing the overwhelming force displayed by Drogon, they involuntarily kneel and submit. However, recently captured and still holding his identity as a knight and member of House Tarly. Samwell Tarly's father refuses to bow down to Daenerys, a foreigner. He vows never to submit and certainly not to obey her command to be sent to the wall.
You are not my queen.
You will have to kill me too.
Step back and shut your mouth.
Who are you?
I'm Dickon Tarly, son of Randall Tarly.
This war has already wiped one great house from the world. Don't let it happen again. Bend the knee.
I will not.
Dracarys.